That piece of music speaks to how tenderly, lovingly the angels worship God. And even the greatest angels do not know everything about God. And the holiness of the ever-expanding mystery that we all are involved in is the way, is the path. Like children with our eyes wide open, we see the ever unfolding creation and know and sense beyond time and space there is much more. In this Christmas time, this holy time where the angels of the Christ light come from every corner of the universe as peoples around the world tune in to these frequencies and bring them down through their songs, through their prayers, through their heart's longing. We too can be taken up, almost like in a flying chariot of fire, pulled by the angels themselves in this meditation. Tonight, let's go there. Let's rise and start this meditation by an invocation. Eva. O Holy Father, Mother God, you are so wondrous, so beautiful, so mysterious. May we, your children, sit at your feet. Send your angels, the ascended masters, cosmic beings, all saints in heaven. Open the portals of divine communication over each one of us. Let that love, wisdom, and truth communicate with us. We call to you also, Lord Jesus, beloved Mother Mary, on this holy month of December, and we ask that you send the Christ light and the light of the Divine Mothers into this temple and through and around all planet Earth and this universe. Raise us in that light, in that love, and in that joy. Thank you. So, for those of you that are new about this meditation, it's a stillness meditation. A couple of recommendations. Stay very present. Stay very aware of where you are. You may feel like you are being lifted up into a divine world. That's okay. Go there. But remain very present. As we remain still and clear, the holy angels will come in this room. Their presence is a sign from God for each one of us, for it is a blessing that they come as living messengers. Something good will happen tonight. Gently float back into your body, but keep your eyes closed. And we're going to perform a divine alchemy together. Spend a few moments now and just gather your highest, purest, most loving energies. And as you tap into these divine energies, you might feel they are growing and that they are actually living, conscious. What I'd like to do is, in the middle of this room, we're going to see the earth perfectly clean. The forest green, the oceans blue, the skies clear, no smog. Food for everyone. So in this room we see the earth now in our higher mind. Perfect. Beautiful. All beings, the deers, the rabbits, the fish, the birds, the unseen beings of earth, air, fire, and water, also in a state of divine perfection, beyond even what the Garden of Eden looked like. And let's just all hold that divine vision for the earth now, and let the masters and the angels create and repair as needed what needs to be done for our beloved planet Earth. So now, using your divine will, your divine vision, and your power, see the earth perfect in every way. Let's all focus in on the air. See the air clear, no smog, no chemtrails, no chemicals of any kind. See that earth, air, clear. Now see the ocean, clean, no plastic pollution, no radioactive mess from Fukushima. The oceans around the world, we see it clear, and the fish abundant. the whales singing, the dolphins jumping for joy. Now let's see the mountains with trees and deer and wildflowers, and the rivers clean water. Now we see the cities, no cars, no pollution. Everything run by solar light. As we have tapped into the divine frequencies of unlimited energy. And we ask this to be done this day, O Father, Mother God, O beloved Masters of love and light. We hold this vision with the immaculate vision of the Divine Mother, who meditates with us, holding the perfect image for each of us as we hold this image for our Mother Earth. And know that you are a powerful spiritual being, and what you focus your attention on, you can co-create. A beautiful world, full of love, a peaceful world where everything is abundant, a joyful world where people have connected with their own divine essence, their own God flame. A world where the saints and the masters and the angels walk and talk with us in the higher universities of learning of the Spirit. No more doctrine and dogma. A universal, all-inclusive place of holy learning and knowing that we too are the light, that we too are part of each other, that we come from the one light and we return to the light. As you come back from your meditation, I'm going to read a few things. This is the Temple of Clarity. It is a Ascended Master study group, part of the Heart Center movement. And the Heart Center community, which is in the lineage of the Theosophical Society, the I Am Group, Bridge of Freedom, Summit Lighthouse, and now the Heart Center worldwide movement. And I'll just read, it says, who we are, the Heart Center community. There's no membership. It's just light workers coming together, meditating, praying, dancing, celebrating. But here's what they say. The Heart Center is a dynamic worldwide movement. Is it locked? Come in. Hi, Rena. Oh, it was locked. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Yes, we were. We're just sharing now. I'm just sharing a little bit. Anyways, the Heart Center community, who we are. The Heart Center is a dynamic worldwide movement of spiritual seekers and finders, joyously growing in personal self-mastery. Our mission is to offer the up-to-the-minute teachings and inspirations from the Ascended Masters. Through David Christopher Lewis, an anointed messenger of the Universal Great White Brotherhood. As a virtual community, we daily broadcast free prayer services, including meditations, devotional singings, the giving of mantras, personal sharings, and teachings from the Ascended Masters. We gather in person at our local events and quarterly conferences and annual pilgrimages. So the Heart Center has a mission statement and a vision statement. And I think everyone can relate to that. It's so inclusive. Our mission. Within the Heart Center community, we realize personal enlightenment through our higher self and share the Ascended Master's teachings and our love wisdom throughout the earth. Our vision is to live in sustainable golden crystal age communities in joy and in harmony with Mother Nature. Using solar sciences of the spirit, we radiate light and we live and love as one. So there is a legend about a Christ that will come to the future, to the earth, and his name is Lord Maitreya. And he's supposed to come 500 years after the Golden Age, which they are debating, when it actually started. Was it 1776 or was it 2012? So what this Christ that is coming, this incarnation of the Christ that is coming, is going to be a unifier where there's going to be the highest and the best of every religion and tradition, any way that you can connect to God, from meditation to singing and dancing like the Sufis, or the hula from Hawaii, or all that is a synthesis of all that is good and holy will be brought into this new birth of this new religion that's going to come to earth. And the Heart Center movement it's not just David Christopher Lewis, this guy on the top. He recognizes that there are other spiritual leaders on this planet. There are other messengers, people receiving messages from the angels and the masters themselves. He recognizes that every single person has that capability to contact their own God flame within their self. He's just like the mouthpiece, so to speak, right now. It's totally an Aquarian organization that I really appreciate this. I think in the first time in history there has, in a movement like this, there is an Aquarian concepts where it's so inclusive. There are people from every walk of life, every religion. You don't have to belong to any religions. There's no doctrine or dogma. It's whatever you use to connect to your higher self, your God flame. And it is that juice, that electricity, that fire that we're all learning to use. I'm always incorporating new ways in my own exploration of the truth. It's ever growing. From non-dualism to bhakti yoga to Raja yoga to Agni yoga, which is one of my favorites, fire yoga. If you ever tried that, is what Saint Germain teaches. Agni yoga, where you work with the violet flame. So that is basically what the Heart Center is. A totally inclusive group where people, light workers from every tradition, and some that there is no tradition, it's just something that's brand new that God has revealed to somebody, which happens quite often. And then all of a sudden, you know, this new technique, this new perspective is now being accepted in the norm of all the light workers of the Ascended Master students. So I welcome you to check us out, check out the Heart Center website, take a look at what the progressive revelation of the Ascended Masters, as they are speaking through David, what they're saying currently, because that is very timely information. Something to investigate on your own spiritual path and journey. We had a beautiful conference here, and there was a blessing from these Venusian beings, Sanat Kumara and Lady Master Venus. And it was given with this heart stone. And I'm just going to pass it around the room. And what you could do is just put it to your heart, because that divine energy is still there. Go ahead and absorb some Venusian love. As that happens, I'm going to play a little piece of music that we can just kind of like go into a little bit. And stay in that space of God awareness.
Shadows round, kindness
I just like to speak to the idea that this world has projected upon each of us since we were born, that this world is not a safe place, that this world is not a loving place. And when we come to this earth, we come from pure spirit, bathed in a light and a love, and taken care of by billions of angels. Our every need, everything taken care of. And then we land on this planet. Our parents do their best to love us and teach us what they know, but we knew and remember where we come from. And the brainwashing that has gone on through television, through radio and movies, and societies and cultures around the world, depicting man and woman as less than divine, has left a big scar on the soul, the whole earth. The masters have said that this planet is coming out of a Kali Yuga, a dark cycle, where ignorance, darkness, and problems. So we're here, we're born, and our parents are trying to teach us what they know, but we can't accept the lies that they've been programmed with. So we have to dive into our own inner memory, our own inner souls. And that's what meditation is there for, to tap into that part of us that remembers our source. That we are pure light, that we are the light. And that we're here to heal the earth, bring wisdom where there's ignorance, peace where there is war. And one of the ways that we can do that is by holding the immaculate concept for the earth, by bringing in the light when we meditate and pray. We can invoke the light from the masters and the angels to fill this earth and give them permission by the use of our own free will to wash the earth clean with sacred fire, with the holy light. So that is kind of like the Ascended Master path in a nutshell. I can just condense it like that. I remember when I was 17 and I finally came across a group that was actually saying what I knew was truth inside me, but they were saying it better than me. I go, yes, I understand that, I agree with that, and I had kind of like this inner voice, this inner communicator, this inner knower that was telling me we're not all sinners, we're not all going to hell, we're not these evil beings that God created. We are His children, His sons and daughters, and even though we make mistakes, we don't have to focus on the negative. And I was passionate about that, but I couldn't find a group. I couldn't find a church. I couldn't find anybody that could really speak to that. And till I found the Saint Germain, and then he was the one who, in his books, wrote so eloquently about the God flame within. You focus on that, and you become that. If you focus on the negative, you become the negative. So, with that, I will pass around the mic. If anybody has anything they would like to share or speak to anything that I might have said. Check, check. Test, test. Hold on a minute. We're going to have to rock it with one mic today. Lori?
I've nothing to say, shockingly.
Hello, my name is Gina, and I just moved here from Florida, so I just wanted to thank you for having me here. It's very awesome. Sorry we were late. So just kind of wanted to come check it out and meet like-minded spiritual people and meditate. So it was really nice to kind of take a break and come here and do this. So just wanted to say thank you.
Gina, is that spelled with a G?
Yeah, Gina. So.
Yeah, same. My name is James, and everything she said also applies. I'm sorry for being late. Thank you for having this awesome space, and just it was a good meditation, and everything you said is awesome too.
You guys are from Florida?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Like South Florida, like West Palm area.
Oh, okay.
What brought you here?
I've been out here for a couple months, like since July, and then she's my best friend from Florida, so she needed to be out here too, because she actually like super belongs out here.
Like surfing is what I love. So
Yeah.
I just the energy, I just love it better, So yeah.
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
Was there any place to go to in Florida? Any meditation groups or anything like that, James?
Yeah, there's a couple of them, and so finding places like this is like definitely a goal, because it's been missing, at least for my life, for like half a year, and then now we're fine. Now she's like the go-to, she's finding all the spots, and it's great, because it's been like crazy for me out here, and I'm finally like living where I want to live, and slowly getting around people that are like me, and this is good, but
You guys live here in Vista or Carlsbad or?
No, it was like
we live in
Del Mar, so it was like a little bit of a drive.
yeah.
But it's worth it, I guess.
Yeah. What did you find? You found him on Meetup. So it's been pretty cool. I really liked it here in this space. Again, thank you.
It's all joy for me.
Somebody ask a question, I'll answer it. I have nothing to add.
You guys have any questions? So the question is, who are the ascended masters? There are spiritual hierarchies that govern the destiny and the evolution of planet Earth. So, from governments to art to literature to music, anything that is in the heaven worlds, there's a spiritual hierarchy that governs that and helps bring that here on earth. And so the ascended masters are the people that have graduated from planet Earth, all the saints and sages, gurus, Buddhas, and avatars of this planet that have kind of completed their learning. You know, this earth is considered a school ground, and we're here to learn, to play nicely with each other, to also master our spiritual beings, all of our bodies, balance our karma, fulfill our dharma, which is, why we're here to begin with. So there's a reason why we're here on earth. And this earth is a school ground. And then we go up as we get closer and closer to God. We get closer and closer to self-realization. There are, these levels. And then the final graduation, so to speak, is called the ascension, which Jesus demonstrated when he ascended back to God. When Elijah ascended, he ascended back to God. Even the Buddha ascended back. In the ancient Buddhist texts, you can see Buddha being taken up by a flame, a fire. So the ascension is the actual merging of the soul with the God self in the permanent atom of being. So we become one with God in that process of the ascension, when the soul is fully God realized and has fulfilled its purpose. Each of us have a divine purpose. God, you are an idea in the mind of God. So God made you with a divine idea, the idea, of James, that is going to outpicture a divine virtue, a divine manifestation of how you express your godliness, I would say. So the ascension is that part. The ascended masters are a group of these that still have not left the planet but are helping the planet Earth evolve. The Great White Brotherhood is the main organization. It's actually a brotherhood and sisterhood. So there's, just as many feminine masters as there are male, because there's, like 50-50. So it's not, like I said, it's not a men's club. It's all the divine beings, all the divine mothers working together for planet Earth. So the Ascended Masters is the saints of the past, the prophets of the past, those who have graduated from Earth. Now, they make it easier for us every time somebody makes their ascension, because they leave breadcrumbs, so to speak. They leave how they did it. And, so in those books and in those energy trails are keys to our soul's unfolding. So if you study the life of Saint Germain, who is an Ascended Master, how did he, make that leap, from, say, the 12th grade to the Ascension, and became one with God? And you'll find that all the Ascended Masters, East and West, North and South, have very similar stories. But they outpicture a divine virtue of God that is unique unto themselves. As we all have our own special gifts and our own special ways of communicating, or special ways of loving and all that. So I guess that's my best explanation of who an Ascended Master is. There's more information, probably a lot more articulated information online. If you go to the Heart Center website, and I'll give you a flyer and a couple little gifts to take home. You can look it up. They say it the best. I'm just scrambling for words here. Were you able to follow some of that? It is kind of simple, this earth, there is a reason why we're all here. And as we, gain our knowledge and our skills and develop our own spiritual powers, we start getting closer and closer to God, to the flame. And as you start to get closer and closer, it gets more and more joyous. It's not the sorrowful way. There is parts of it where you have to kind of like get through some of your, some people have karma to get through, but the masters and the angels and our Father, Mother God are so merciful. They forgive everything. And not only do they forgive it all, they erase it all. It never happened. So it's tuning into those energies that really make it joyful path. Any other things I could speak to? Anybody else want to add to that? Lori?
You're just hoping. Wishing, hoping.
From your tradition, it's probably has its own unique perspective.
Well, that's why I don't want to confuse things. That's why I don't want to confuse things.
Maybe you can merge them a little.
In the end of 2012, I was told that I started having these experiences of being one with the Divine Mother and being the Divine Mother, and that I was done with the physical body and that it was going to be time to move on, which I was fine. I have no fear of death. I know I'd already had a near-death experience in '87, so I know it's all just unconditional love on the other side, way beyond what we could even possibly imagine in this realm. So I wasn't afraid. And then I got a date, February 8th, 2013. I got a date. Said goodbye to everybody, said goodbye to my children, said goodbye to my students. I was good. They were all upset that I was so happy, actually, that I was graduating and, getting to go on. And that night, the night before, I experienced being on the causal plane, which is where high-level spirits go in between lifetimes. You probably all go there in your slumber time, and in our dream time, and in our in between lifetimes. It's called the causal plane because that's where we cause things to happen from. So I'm out on the causal plane. I became the Divine Mother, and I saw my spirit leave my body. I thought, well, I'm dead. The body's dead. I don't need it anymore. I was fine. So the next morning, I come back into something comes back into this body. Let's put it that way. And it was the Divine Mother aspect of me without the personality part of me. And some people describe that as ascension, that I was just the energy of that, not a personality of that. So for 7.5 months, I was in this state where I wasn't attached to anything. I wasn't attached to my children, to my business, to my students, to eating, to drinking, to doing anything. I would just sit in my room and I'd stare out the window and be in bliss. So I'm in bliss. But as you can imagine, everybody around me is very worried because I don't care about anything. I'm not attached to it at all. Those 7.5 months go by, and everybody is now extremely worried. And I'm beginning to, that part of me that's still conscious is saying, well, why am I still here? I'm not attached to this body whatsoever. I'm not doing anything to run the body. It's sort of on its own. And, there must be, so I decided, again, that's aspect of me, decided if I'm still here, there must be something I have to care about here. There must be something I could have passion for. What did I used to care about before this? Oh yeah, men. I used to care about men. Huh. That might be interesting. I don't know. Whatever works, I guess. So I programmed myself to go out and to meet my Maui soulmate. And I saw this meditating, levitating monk who I knew was much younger than me. And I'm laughing because obviously it's a spirit guide because he's much younger than me. And I tell my friends the next morning, the universe does have a sense of humor. My Maui soulmate is a spirit guide. 2 weeks later, I met him, 24 years younger than me, and he spent the next 2 months trying to convince me he wasn't too young for me. He was too young for me, but it lasted 5 years until I moved from Maui. So now it's sort of like this hybrid. So for me, and I can't speak to what it is for everyone, but for me, going into that ascension state where the personality or the ego is totally gone was not what I personally was meant to do here, because I wasn't doing anything. I was just being, which, obviously that held a vibration, sent a vibration to my students. But it was not enough connection to the earth to be enough to sustain, for me to keep staying in that state after 7.5 months. So I kind of found a hybrid of that. And during that, I had no sense of humor. I had nothing. I mean, I was just there. Very much like when I was in India, I was an invited guest in India in 2015, and no, that's not right, 2008, because it was before all of that. And they had what they call divine beings, cosmic beings, awakened beings, and they were just in that state 24/7. And people were there to feed and water them in this ashram. It was wonderful. And the first night I went there with them, and the guru had never seen a Westerner do that before, so they wanted to keep me. Just very strange. Fortunately, I was psychic enough to tell my friends, a couple of kahuna friends that had gone with me, don't let them keep me. They're saying, why? This was before that happened. Why would they keep you? I don't know, but I'm just supposed to tell you, don't let them keep me. And then 2 or 3 times during the 10 days we were there, they would take us in front of these, incredible spirits that walked very slowly, very much like when I was in that state. They didn't eat a lot. They just were in that state. That was their goal. That was their purpose. And so I could have decided to stay there. There would have been somebody to feed and water me, but I came back. So I think for everybody, it's about finding what what is the divine purpose for you in this lifetime? What is it that is your kuleana? In Hawaii we'd say kuleana, which is privilege and responsibility, and our overall responsibility is to learn what it is we need to learn to move ourselves along our path towards enlightenment. And how you do that is going to be different than how somebody else does it. Everybody can give you signposts, guidelines that you can try out, but bottom line is you have to find what resonates with you, what works for you.
Lori, can you speak to like the beginning souls, the newer souls, into that are evolving on this planet?
Sure. As an embodiment of the Divine Mother, and that's a whole nother long story. I brought through this information that makes perfect sense to me. It's that we go through our lifetimes in the order of the chakra systems. So do you know anything about the chakras? So your first chakra is your survival center. So first we do our survival lifetime. So new souls, brand new souls, are doing survival lifetimes. So their job is to make a body, to run it for a little while, and to get rid of it. So they die of malnutrition, wherever starving children are. There's always going to be a place on this planet where there's starving children, because some souls need to start out there. That's what they need to do. And or they're going to get eaten by a tiger or whatever. Then you get done, you master your first chakra lifetimes, and you move on to your second chakra lifetimes, which are our emotions and sensuality. So that's where we learn about our feelings, and that there's boys and there's girls. And you can also sort of think about this as the going through the universal university. So the first chakra lifetimes are like pre-kindergarten. You're just learning basic survival skills, how to tie your shoes, how to walk and talk. Okay. Second chakra lifetimes are like elementary school. They were learning about boys and girls and feelings and, good and bad and things like that. Then we move into our third chakra lifetimes, which are about will and willpower and manifesting. And that's like junior high, where that's where all the bullying happens. Those are our lifetimes where, we're the victim or we're the persecutor. And we probably have undoubtedly, we've tried both roles. And we move to our fourth chakra lifetimes, our love and affinity for ourselves and each other. Affinity is unconditional love. And that's like high school, where we fall in love for the first time. And, the real lesson in high school is learning to love ourselves, which most people don't master it in this country. And then we move into our fifth chakra lifetimes, which are communication with ourselves, others, and divine, which is like getting our undergraduate degree. And then we move into our sixth chakra lifetimes, which are our psychic, intuitive, healing, creativity, and perception of things. And that's like getting a master's degree. And then we move into our seventh chakra lifetimes, which are just about spirituality. That's like getting our PhD. And then we're done. We're POW, as we would say in Hawaii, which means finished or complete. So how come if, all of you are either on a sixth or seventh chakra lifetime? I guarantee you, you're all on a sixth or seventh chakra lifetime. So why is it that you may have had trouble with survival? Maybe your finances were a problem at one time, or maybe you had emotional stuff or sexual stuff, or, had issues with will and willpower, and needed to learn to love yourself, or, trouble speaking your truth, or haven't fully mastered your psychic ability. Well, that's because just like each chakra has 7 layers to it, all of our lifetimes have to be mastered on 7 different aspects of that chakra lifetime. So for instance, we will take your first chakra. So you have to master survival on a survival level. So the survival layer of the survival chakra, you have to master it. You have to master the emotional and sexual. That's, how you feel about your life, and, procreation, sexual stuff too. Then you have to master on the will and willpower, having the will to live, the will to survive. You have to master it on the love aspect, loving your life. You have to master it on a communication level, talking yourself out of a dangerous situation. You have to master it out of a psychic, intuitive, creativity, healing ability. You have to heal your body, or you have to use your intuition to get yourself out of a dangerous situation, etc. And then the seventh chakra, the spiritual aspect, you have to master your first chakra lifetimes on a spiritual level. So that's dying for your religion, for instance. Okay, so it takes at least, and most people take many, many more than this, but at least 7 lifetimes to go through each chakra lifetime. So most people have a minimum of 49 lifetimes, and people get stuck somewhere. And you can always tell the people that get stuck somewhere. Okay? So you look at the famous people in the world. So let's take Donald Trump. So let's not, not talking any politics. What is he in? Is he in pre-kindergarten, elementary school, junior high, high school, getting his undergraduate degree, his master's degree, or college? So what does he act like?
Little bully.
A little bully, which is third chakra. It's third chakra. So he is working on a third chakra lifetime. Right? Now, that doesn't make him bad and wrong. That doesn't make him bad and wrong. That's just what he's doing. All of you are in graduate school or getting your PhD. So we look at the bully as president and we go, oh my God, how can that be? How can he be like that? Well, he is doing exactly what it is. I know it's hard to understand. Exactly what it is that he needs to be doing at the level that he's doing it. That's who got hired. Okay? So who this country hires says something about the country's chakra lifetime. So each country resonates at a chakra lifetime. So we used to be, in this country, this used to be a 4th chakra country. We think about it with the heartland of America, right? It used to be about love and affinity and welcoming people and inviting people into your home and stuff like that. We have downgraded. Now it's a 3rd chakra country. Right? So, anybody been to Bali? Bali is a 7th chakra country or aspect of Indonesia. That they meditate, they pray 6 times a day, and they ask for peace within themselves. So 6 times a day, peace within themselves and peace in the world. 6 times a day, they live their spiritual path. Right? So you look at something like Africa. Let's talk about Haiti. So Haiti was a 1st chakra country. People were just trying to survive. Then the massive hurricane hit, all of the devastation, and they became a 2nd chakra country. And here's how that happened. So we started to send all of this help there. So they went from basic survival, not even being able to survive on a daily basis, to having a little tiny bit more, and then rape started to happen. And feelings and anger, and if you're just basic survival, you don't have the ability to be dealing with the emotions. You don't have the privilege, let's say, of dealing with the emotions. Not to mention rape. And then let's look at, African countries. Even Oprah can't stop the African countries from being 2nd chakra. 2nd chakra is like sexual stuff. Even in her school, there was molestation. Right? So, and the Middle East, the Middle East. What is the Middle East? What chakra is the Middle East? It's actually 3rd, because there are always going to be dictators in the Middle East. So here we are. The United States has decided that, now I'm getting political, sorry. But the United States has decided that they should not have dictators in the Middle East because it makes us uncomfortable. That is like going into a pack of wild dogs and saying, you really can't have an alpha dog. I'm sorry. I know that's your tradition, but it really makes us uncomfortable for you to have an alpha dog. So we're going to make you have a democratic pack. That's not going to work, okay? Until they decide to evolve, it's going to stay the same. And we're only making things worse. We're getting in there and being the worst bullies, because we've downgraded. So the really cool thing is everybody is exactly where they're meant to be. Everybody is exactly where they're meant to be. So if you're getting your graduate degree or your PhD, you would never be judging somebody in junior high for acting like they were in junior high. You would never be doing that. Never, right? Because you wouldn't expect them to know what it is that you know. But yet, if we're expecting the Trumps of the world to be different, he can't be. That's just where he is. That's just where he is. And it says something about a country that elected him rather than him personally, because that's just where he's at. So if we all lived in this way, there would be non-judgment, because you can't judge somebody if they're just being who it is that they're meant to be and learning what it is that they're meant to be learning. Okay? So, new souls, first, second chakra lifetimes. Middle souls are third chakra, moving in fourth chakra lifetimes. You are all on sixth or seventh. Congratulations. It's huge. Oh, of course.
I'm gonna try to explain this the best way I can, but it may not.
Do you want the phone? The phone. Do you want the phone?
Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna try to explain this the best I can, but it may sound kind of weird. I really liked your story, by the way. That's really cool and like interesting. I also was a teacher, so I can relate. But lately, I've been like going through some like interesting, I guess, experiences, you could say, and I guess trying to make sense of it. The best way I can describe it's almost like, so it's like as I'm falling asleep, I know like 100% I'm not dreaming. I'm not dreaming yet, but it's like, it almost sounds like I'm about to tune into like a radio. And there's like a couple times, like once, like I was at his house and he wasn't there. He was out with his brother. He left. And all of a sudden, like, it's like, "Rrr," like I'm like tuning into something and I hear their whole conversation, like clearly, like he's in the room, but like he wasn't there. And then again, this was like weird, like last night actually, like I'm like falling asleep and it happened again. Like it's like I'm hearing this weird like noise, and I'm awake, but like I'm getting drowsy, but I know I'm not sleeping. And then like some deep voice like telling me stuff about like Jesus. I don't know. And like, I'm like, what's happening? I don't know. I'm just trying to like make sense of it, but like not think I'm crazy. I don't know. It's like, do you guys have any like thoughts on that?
Yes.
What is it?
So when you're in the half awake, half asleep state, that is your spirit that is coming into consciousness in your body. So that is your, you could say, higher self that is becoming awake within you. Good job.
So, like, what do I do? Just let it go? Like, let it flow, I guess?
Well,
It's just wild for me.
okay, so the more we're in touch with those higher parts of ourselves, the more conscious we are on a daily basis, right? So before you get to that point, I would be, if it was me, I would be saying, okay, when I go into that state, I ask my higher consciousness to give me the information that's beneficial for me to have right now in a form that I can use it in. Because sometimes, like if you're getting random stuff that you don't know how to use, it's just that it's not coming in the form that you can use it in. Right? So you need to sometimes be clear with a higher consciousness about how this body needs to be able to understand it in a way to know how to use it best.
That's interesting. Thank you.
Of course.
Doesn't that also happens on its own in a way?
What was that last part?
So does that, in my experience, like what you say, what you're experiencing, and then should you let it be and flow? Because I have done it that way, and just be witness,
Right.
just be watchful, because it is a phenomenon, because it's come and go. The things will come, and then they will pass. So anything that comes and passes, in my understanding, is a phenomenon, and there is something deeper than that. And then being aware or being observer, and then and then what I'm supposed to do or supposed to happen, it will happen. Like you said, we are where we're supposed to be.
Right. Right.
In this world, all of us.
Right.
So it's happening. I but yet becoming observer.
Right. Well, that's another step beyond. So,
Sorry.
no. That's good. That's good. So at some point we realize that part of the enlightenment process is realizing we're not our thoughts. We're not even the thoughts from our higher self. We're the part that's witnessing those thoughts. Okay. And where, when you go into full self-realization, there's, we still have time, I'm still talking here. That Dr. David Hawkins, who's done the most research on self-realization, also called oneness non-duality, at least in the West, said that everyone that has that experience, goes into self-realization and oneness non-duality, has the same 5 experiences. It doesn't matter how old they are, what their social economic status is, what their education is, what their beliefs are, what their country is. It all is exactly the same. So number 1, you lose all sense of your body. Number 2, your thoughts stopped. As a double Gemini, when that happened to me in 2003, that got my attention the most. No thoughts. Number 4, no time. There's, no awareness of time whatsoever. Oneness with everything, including the divine, including God, whatever you call that, goddess, whatever you call that. And number 5, absolutely no motivation to do anything but be in that state. Therein lies the problem. So, at that point, you don't have those thoughts. You don't have those anything coming through you. You're not even witnessing them because they're not even any thoughts whatsoever. You're just it. You're just all of it.
See, I have one more question.
Yes.
I want to speak
Yes.
a little bit about your thing.
Please.
Because I've had the same thing. So, the veil gets thinner and thinner as you go deeper and deeper into spirit. And in my practice, we put a crystal diamond tube of light around ourselves. And it's something that Saint Germain talked. And it's a visualization, and it's actually an affirmation where you say it out loud. And your words actually become manifestations at some point on your path. As you speak truth, speak love, God starts to speak through you. You start to hear God's voice. It's all very common. But there's also noise of the mass consciousness and the unconscious minds. And so the Yogananda says our minds are like a radio, and there's lots of radio stations out there. And you have to know how to, to turn the station. How to, go to the God station again, or, the angel station, and get out of the noisy stations in the mental plane. So at night, also, I would say for you is to have a photograph of one of your sponsoring masters, whether it be Jesus or Mother Mary or whoever you are, have a heart connection with, whoever your guide is, and have a crystal that has been blessed near your bed or organite. And so when you leave your body at night, people do not know how to sleep correctly. You look out your Christ center. Your bedroom has to be absolutely clean because you're leaving your body. You're going into spirit. You have to have your focuses of light. And then when you go to sleep at night, you focus at the Christ center. You ask for your guardian angel and your sponsoring master to take you to the higher schools of learning. You can use things like you want to protect your body because there are negative influences on this planet. Thought forms that were created by people who are in such pain and agony and in such delusion that they've created these thoughts that float around. and have wings, and you can actually bump into one of those. And so you have to be in a. I'm always in a flame, so I always work with the violet flame or one of the other flames. So those kind of energies just get dissolved and consumed when they come within my aura, and I constantly regenerate that energy field around me, so that there's only love and light, and the negative influences don't penetrate that force field of light. We call it a flow field in the heart center. It's a positive thing. So what are we mastering in time and space? We are mastering light. We are mastering energy. We're mastering our physical bodies and our spiritual bodies. So how to do that, that's what the Ascended Masters teach. That's what the Masters teach. That is the, that is the way. So for you, at night, make your room very clean. Get a picture of Mother Mary, picture of Jesus, whoever your sponsoring master is. Sage it, incense it, clear it of all negative energies. And then when you go to sleep at night, consciously go in to the heaven worlds. Do not go into the unconscious mind. Do not go into the subconscious mind. Go into the superconscious, God-conscious awareness that you are eternally. But we got these minds that we're trapped in, these mind bodies that we're trapped in here, which don't always jive with, who we are eternally. So, but we have to deal with it, and how to deal with it is the techniques that the masters, the Ascended Masters, and other saints have outlined. Go, start reading about that, how to do that. Yogananda talked about sleeping correctly, and that's one of my favorite videos of his you'll ever see, and you'll get a good laugh at it. He actually goes into samadhi. It's the one of the only videos of a master actually demonstrating how to go into samadhi, and he does it in the video in this film that was made in 1940 or something. And you'll notice it right away when it happens. Right when he does it, you'll feel it. It's like this. The film on the camera that was recording it captured the energy of that. It's one of the most powerful spiritual videos that you can just dial into on YouTube at any time and just go, wow, that is the reality of God. That is, without a doubt, you'll feel that. Anyways, that was my 2 cents.
Thank you. I just had one more quick, thought or kind of question. Because you're talking about the non-attachment when you're in, the 5 stages of self-realization or whatever. And the whole non-attachment part, I see it and I get it. But then again, it's I kind of don't, because I don't know. I feel didn't God put us on this planet to be of service and help each other? Without that, I feel where would we be? So why is that? Do you have an answer for that? Because that kind of stumps me a little.
Well, when you're on up to a 6 chakra lifetime, 6 chakra lifetimes. Bye, Rose. Thanks for coming. 6 chakra lifetimes are all about service. That we're healers, we're psychics, we're creating, we're bodhisattvas. Go up to the 7th chakra lifetime, and you realize that your sole purpose, every pun intended, SOUL, purpose, is to do what it is that you need to do to move yourself along your path towards enlightenment. Now, sometimes, and for me, as a spiritual teacher for 45 years, my path towards that was teaching. How I was learning was through teaching. But it wasn't my job to teach. It was my job to grow towards enlightenment, and that the vehicle I used was through teaching. So now I've retired recently. My job is to be that. And, of course I'm, led to share, can take the teach out of the classroom, can take the teachings out of the teacher. I give many psychic readings here and there whenever I'm led to. But the purpose at those highest levels becomes just being the light, being the divine, being the source, rather than doing the light, doing the, doing all of it. So, and it's a progression, and I'm still working on how to be it rather than do it. It's still a transition for me. Okay. So when you're ready to be it rather than do it, you will know. And then you get less attached. The being, you're less attached because you're not looking for a goal out there. You're not trying to accomplish something. You're just trying to have the intention be to be that light, the divine, the God, goddess, etc.
Well, thank you. Do you mind doing the closing prayer for us?
We should have Gina do it. Come on, Gina.
I don't know what the prayer is.
But it's anything you want.
Oh, it's like so much pressure.
Oh, no, don't stop pressure. You just say whatever's in your heart.
I'm
scared. Oh my gosh.
When you're done,
Oh, okay.
just say something nice and positive. And
We're all supporting each other.
I'm sorry. Am I supposed to pray to a certain?
No,
thing?
no, there's no rules.
Okay. Angels, bless you. Angels, archangels, all love and light that surrounds us. We thank you, and I want to thank you for letting us into your temple, and just bless us as we go out from the temple, and help us just be light workers and just be, I don't know, I'm getting scared now. Okay, just be, love, light, and help us shed light into the world. Amen.
Perfect.
That was okay. That was really scary. Okay.
Blow the candle out. Perfect.
Thank you, everybody, on the broadcast. We are going to sign off here. We will be broadcasting again tomorrow night. We'll be doing Mother Mary's Rosary and Healing Service. Tune in if you can, and God bless you, and I'll see you when I see you.